And that's another reason to be grateful to our Daily Wire Plus subscribers. Please go over to Daily Wire Plus, become a subscriber. If you're not one, if you are one, please stick with us. That is the only safe revenue that we have as a company, is the people who want to be in this fight with us. That's why we're adding things like Members Block. That's why we have been bringing All Access back online now that we're recovering from those technological deficits that we've had. And there are still a few wrinkles, but it's all, we're moving forward and trying to make this community part of the Daily Wire Plus really come to the fore. Because at the end of the day, it's the only thing we've got. Even the people who make 8 figures a year off of us will not acknowledge publicly our right to exist.
This is why the right has ignored the right ignoring the culture for so long has gotten us into this position.
That's right.
Always talking politics, but this is pure culture. It's pure culture that he feels that a 15-like tweet from some protected class person is more dangerous than losing your audience, losing our audience. It's an amazing thing what happens to the mind when a narrative takes over, when a narrative is promulgated.
It's about the right being nice and the right saying we don't want to engage in tactics. We don't want to push.
That's right.
We want to be cordial. It's a free market. They can say what they want. Well, here's the thing. If you guys don't push back, then it's asymmetric. It's completely asymmetric. Yeah. It means that they do, in a certain sense, have more to fear. Until we existed, until Daily Wire existed, they did have more to fear from the idiot with 15 followers on Twitter than they did from multi-million-dollar or even billion-dollar conservative companies, because the conservative companies would just sit back there and they would take it. They would sit there and they'd say, okay, well, we exist at your sufferance. We understand we exist at your sufferance. And so, we understand what you're doing. We get it. We get that they're mean and they're nasty. We're over here. We're nice. But you know what? Screw that.
That's right.
Okay, because the reality is that we're not nice anymore. If you're going to seek to destroy us, then we are not going to sit here and be destroyed. That is not something that I do not acquiesce to the erasure of my own existence. That is not something I'm sorry, but I like existing. I'm addicted to breathing. There are certain things I'm not willing to do, and not existing is one of the things I am not willing to do.
But we don't even have to fight at their level. All we have to do is speak out without fear, because the things that we say make sense to most people. And I think that's the whole
But cowards
problem.
need to be punished.
What's that?
Cowards need to be punished.
Right.
And we need to mobilize too. The good news, I think, is that people on the right are hungry to mobilize and to get out. I hear this from people all the time. Like they're ready. They want to get out. They want to do something. That's one of the reasons why they love the Daily Wire so much, is that we are out there doing things. So that's the good news. But they need an outlet. And that's one thing. The left also, they own the culture. They're much better at mobilizing. If they're upset about something, they're going to show up, and they are. The right is much more reticent to do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could show up at the Podcast Movement Conference next year and have 10,000 people picketing or whatever.
Shh, we agreed not to talk about it.
Hypothetically, I'm just saying, you don't want your thing to be political. Well, we can make it real political, make it more political than you ever. We could do that. So it's just, there is that hunger to really.
For a long time, there was a strain on the right where the right wanted to lose. If we were going to lose, we were going to lose with dignity. We're going to step back and lose with dignity. And I think what you realize from that tweet thread from Podcast Movement, what you realize from them saying, yeah, Ben Shapiro shouldn't exist, that's not very dignified. That doesn't feel, and so I have no interest in losing. I don't want to lose in an undignified way. You know what I'd rather do? I'd rather win with dignity and honor and winning.
And that's why the Daily Wire is committed to building alternatives. Because at the end of the day, one of the reasons that the right has gone along with this is because what else are you going to do? You still need a razor. Well, now, you know what? Now you don't. If you're still shaving with a razor from a razor company that hates you, you're doing that by choice. You're not doing that because you don't have alternatives. If you're still getting your news from news companies that hate you, you're doing that. You've decided to do it. You have an alternative. We and others are providing. That's why we're launching into this kids content, so that you don't have to put your kids in front of what the left wants to serve them up. So we're launching entertainment. Who knows what we'll launch next? Other people need to jump into this space. There are a few, of course, Dan Bongino and others in this parallel economy space. But we have to create economic incentive to move. Because at the end of the day, podcast movement is just a business. It's a business that has made a risk calculation. I want them to reevaluate that risk calculation. And I want to make all of these. I think to have a free country, you have to have a largely neutral economic sphere. The economic sphere needs to be a place. Like, you don't need to have to think about the politics of your toilet paper company. If you do, it is a real sign that your country is in trouble. And until we have Jeremy's toilet paper company or Dan Bongino's, I think I'll let Dan have that.
I'll look forward to that, actually.
Bongino 4-ply. But until we have these things, we can't create the conditions for the left.
I can express a lot of hostility of Jeremy's.
Oh, it'll be rough. So rough.